Scruffy Audio Network.
Hey, how are you? All right. I love saying that sentence. I love that. Thanks, Nikki DeMonaco, for hey, how are you? I like it. Hey, this is season 2, podcast 1 of 1 year of doing podcasts. That's amazing. Thanks, crew. My crew here. Yay! It's awesome. And I have my repeat guest, probably for the first time of this year. I think I might have done it with Chad Speck and Emily, but I think my first male active athlete, Tyler Gibson. Tyler, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Man, I'm so glad you're in. I always get a smile when I see you. It's you're like Santa Claus. You come in and out real quick, and I might see you once a year for a week, maybe 2 weeks. So on the part 2, it's been a year. What have you been doing?
So, yeah, I always love coming back in here, seeing you guys. It's always good energy and everything. So, it's I was coming in here since senior year in high school. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I always love coming back. It's the Woodgym is so different than any other place. It's just the coming back in, the energy is, you can feed off of it and everything, so I love it. But no, I've been this past year in Indianapolis.
Thank you.
Absolutely. I've been in Indianapolis, which is cold, flat, so it's taking a little bit getting used to that. But we had a really good season up there. We made it to the Eastern Conference Finals, lost in overtime. And then but other than that, we had like a record year for the club and everything. So it was a very good season as a team, but then personally it was good. I played every minute but 6 minutes. So it was personally a good season as well, especially coming off a broken leg the year before. So
did you train last off season with me for a minute, right?
Yes, yeah. I was in here for a week or two like usual. But yeah, with the recovering from the broken leg and stuff, it was not as much. I feel way better now. I feel like preseason last year it was still tough. Just not the range of motion, not the strength back. I could definitely feel like I was favoring but now this season, like I've getting back in, getting with certain people that I've learned so much from, like taking care of body, mobility stuff and all that. It's like really helped, and I feel almost better than best I've ever felt. So that's exciting, and I'm excited to push on for next season.
Well, you sound excited, doesn't he, guys? He's so excited. Hey, interesting story, Tyler. I bet you two guys don't know this. I'd say that 3 out of the 4 people don't know. When officially is a soccer season at the professional level?
So it depends on what country and everything you're in. But for the U.S., preseason will start about end of January, middle of January. The first games will be beginning of March, and then we'll go till about November, early November, middle November. So yeah, that's the typical schedule for the U.S., but it's a bit different in Europe and other countries. But Europe is they start in the summer, have like some countries have like a little winter break for a week or two, and then we'll end up in May. So it's a little different timing for different countries and everything. But
and what's your next step now?
So I'm currently under contract with Indy again, and so the plan is to go back there for another year. But I'm always looking. I've always had the dream and goal to go back to Europe and play at the highest level there. So always looking for opportunities, and have a bunch of people and agents looking out for opportunities coming up. And yeah, in soccer you never know what could happen. One day you could be with another team.
Gibby, what's the lure? What pulls you to always go back to Europe?
So for me, it is I mean, you have people from Europe wanting to come to America, and then you have people from America wanting to go to Europe. It's always kind of like that. It's something different, something new. For some people, it's try a new lifestyle, different cultures, everything like that. And that is definitely an appeal. Like, obviously, I like to travel and see new cultures and way of life and just something different. But for me, it's for soccer, and I feel like my game is more suited over there because they're more technical, tactical awareness over in Europe. Just that's the style of play they like, and I feel like my game suits that very well. Here in the U.S., it's more physical and let's try to outrun, outjump, like just more physical and everything, and which is good. But I've always wanted to try over there, especially because it is so much bigger and more compact, more opportunities. Everybody scouts everything, so you could be playing in one game, kill it, and then move on to another, like a higher opportunity, just like that. Whereas here, it's still growing. It's still not as many people scout over here. It's still working on getting more and more respected. So it's kind of that. Like, I've always wanted to play at the highest level. So, and I feel like if I got the opportunity over there, anything's possible. So that's the appeal for me.
And how old are you?
28.
Peak for soccer? Peak
so
age?
Yeah, that's the one thing that is tough. So that is coming into your prime, and so a lot of people will say the age will hurt me and everything. Getting an opportunity in Europe, and it's true. Like the age thing is real. But I've had friends, and I know plenty of people that have gone at the age of 29, 30, and then gone up from there. So yeah, it's real, but at the same time, like I don't buy into that. Like, there's always one person that's willing to give you an opportunity, and so like that's been my motivation all along. And I like when people say that I can't do it or it's not going to happen, because there's been so many times in my life when people have said that, and it makes me more determined to prove them wrong. So, and I feel like I just get more and more fit and more like at my prime every year, and like learning new things from people like you and other people that think outside the box has like pushed my game to another level, and I just feel so much more confident and continue to get better, and I feel like I can play for a long time.
That was my next question.
Yeah, so I had a teammate this year he was a legend in Korea. Played over 60 national team games with Korea, World Cup, and England, everything. And he was 37. So there's people all over the world that are playing till 37, 38. And it's all about like how you take care of your body. If you keep doing the right things, eating, sleeping, recovering, you can play till whatever. But a lot of people don't want to sacrifice and put in the time to do it. It's not all just on the field. There's a lot of stuff that goes in off the field that people don't see that's just as important. So, and the mental aspect of the game, like if you don't, a lot of people lose the love for it and just money hungry and all that, and they want to start making money because, like, I mean, in the U.S., the money is not that great yet. So it's something that you really have to love to do. And for me, it's not, I don't really care about the money as long as I can live, and obviously you want it, but for me, I want to play, my goal is to play at the highest level. So I haven't lost that dream yet. So I'm going to keep pushing for it.
And after lunch, we had lunch yesterday, and it was cold and rainy, and you were out running.
Yeah.
You had to eat a lighter lunch to make sure you go out running after training, and so it's a full day.
Yeah.
So take me through a full day in the off season, like with the Woodgym.
So I usually train about 4 times a week.
Not Wednesdays.
Yeah, normally I try to keep it Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday in the gym, and then have like the gym work and then do some kind of running. It mixes up like just hitting the different systems and everything, and then throw in there sometimes playing like pickup soccer with friends and other people to touch the ball, because that's just as important. So yeah, I train quite a bit during the weeks. So it's also come into, as I've gotten older and more experienced, you're always learning and tweaking and adjusting and adapting to different things and learning your body. Because like when I was a bit younger, I would come in here like I think 5 times a week, and then go out and do running, and then go out and play. Like I was doing 3 a days, and I would start getting little injuries here and there, and I didn't know the different mobility stuff that I know now, that and recoveries techniques and all that stuff. So it's always just learning what you need. And you were saying it yesterday, you have the 70% rule, which is true. You got to know how hard you can push and when to take breaks, because that's tough. Like taking the day off is tough. I always like to do something. So yeah, that's the tough part. So
yeah, well, we talk about that a lot on the show, at breakfast. I have athletes living with me now, getting ready for bowl games and combines. Is the 70% rule really holds true, because you're trying to use the word adapt, and that's what I use all the time. The adaptation phase of adapting, of coming in the next day and being able to do something, not being totally wrecked. Because you're not a bodybuilder trying to rest your muscle to grow. You're trying to do different movements, and like you said, you're constantly evolving with your workout. Each off season it changes, and I find that with all the pros I work with and the college kids, but mostly the pros, because they know their body so much more than the college and the high school kids. It's always going to change, and each year you go, let's try this or let's try that, or let's tone that down and bring that up.
Yeah, exactly. That's the biggest thing, and then like just learning what your body needs. But like a day off doesn't necessarily mean just sitting on the couch for me either. So like always like moving, doing some mobility work, taking care of little things, like that stuff is important on those days off, because for me, I feel like if I just sit around and do nothing, then I just stiffen up, and then it takes you a day to get back into it. So just learning those and staying.
So you're 4 out of 7 days a week, and you pretty much
in the gym and running. Yeah.
In the gym and running, right?
Yeah,
right. And Wednesdays, recovery, regeneration type day.
Yeah, Wednesdays can be like that, like mobility stuff, like just little prehab exercises and stuff, or like training with friends and playing pickup here and there. But yeah, so I like to have a little break up between that. And it's good for like, I don't know, mentality and stuff, or your mental being and everything, just to relax a bit and then push on again hard.
So on your hard day, on your hard Monday day, let's say you go to work on Monday, all season work, training, how many hours total?
I'd say probably like 4 to 5.
4 to 5 hours.
Yeah.
Of total training. Okay. Somewhere there. And I like this podcast because I wanted to get deep with like what you do. Our first podcast is like introducing you. Who are you? How'd you get to the Woodgym? Tell me your high school, college, pro career. Now, the dust has settled on that, and you're on to the next venture of, hey, I'm a pro, and I wanted people to get to know like the day in, day out of what that consists of and what you do. You know, and I think we covered that, right? I mean, we went over like, you know, your nutrition is, you know, you don't seem too much of a stress guy of like, you seem pretty loose. You know, you go about your business like all the top pros do in here in the other sports. You always get singled out because everybody's like, oh, he's a pro soccer player. How many soccer players you got? And I'm like, you know, even you asked me that, and it's like, I really don't have any. Now, I don't know if Knoxville is a hotbed for soccer like it is for the baseball and football that I get. It's not a hotbed for tennis. You know, I train some tennis kids, but it's not like where Roger Federer is coming to train.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's definitely not a hotbed. But But that's what we were talking about a little bit yesterday. I was talking to some of my old teammates and stuff, and like people always ask, "Oh, what are you gonna do after you're done playing and stuff?" And I've done coaching and stuff, not like for a team, but like personal training with kids and stuff, and I enjoy it. I just don't know if I would want to actually coach a team. I don't know yet, but I would love to maybe start an academy here.
That's right. We talked about that a couple days ago.
Yeah, so that's been something that just recently I've been thinking about, because I have old teammates that have started academies and everything, and there's just so many. There's such a lack of good coaches. And it's so, like, you see some and you're like, how did you get a job? How are you teaching kids? Like, what are you, like, it's crazy. So
how would you rate it? Let's put it out there. Let's let it fly. How would you rate Knoxville for coaching, for player, for people that are getting out of high school to college to pro? I mean, I don't know another male soccer player that's professionally getting paid overseas and in states than you.
There is, There are a couple.
Why aren't they training with me?
The ones over in Israel.
Oh, well. Fair enough.
Yeah.
So they're not in town.
No.
So, yeah, it's not. You just come back, I guess, for the Woodgym and the Soccer Taco.
Yeah, absolutely.
Lunch. Big plug to Soccer Taco. Maybe they could be our sponsor this year. We're looking for new sponsors, too, by the way. 1-800-SPONSOR-ME. So now that's the parallel you want to do, is you want to get into, you talked about that a couple times. Let's discuss that off camera, of like looking into that, setting that up, because that could be some juice for you. Yeah. Juice as is energy for you, of like an academy, a place to do something like that, because I think if somebody's good at what they do, people will come. Yeah. And I'm 29 years doing it at 51 years of age. They come. Yeah. I mean, I got people out of the United States living with me now, so they come. If you're good enough, they come. They don't need the glitz of the city and, you know, the drama of that stuff. So I think you're onto something with something that's, because you said you wanted to do it something like the Woodgym, right? Yeah. No sign, no, you know, Gibby's in there just grinding, you know, coaching or having coaches. I don't know if you've thought far enough about a business plan, but I think you have the same style of something like this as soccer, right? Yeah. No, that's what I've thought about. Like, there's so many things that start up and clubs that start up that it's a moneymaker. And it's soccer in America is so expensive. As a young kid, like, to put your kid through soccer, a good program, it costs a lot of money. And that's something that, like, I would love to start something here in Knoxville, because there is good talent. There are players, and it's kind of, I think, a little bit maybe untapped. And I would want to start something that's not necessarily a money maker, but something that's actually going to generate talent and produce players and everything. That, and then with my connections and everything, I would have a good team of players that I've already thought about, like, and talk to them a little bit if they'd be interested. And like, they're top players from overseas, so they have connections all over. And I would love to kind of give those opportunities to move on to Europe, or get opportunities that you wouldn't get out of Tennessee, because it's not a soccer place. Yeah. So that's something that I've thought about, but I think that would be several years down the road, because I'm still very, very driven on my own career. Well, I'm already, like, thinking about different things for that, like different tunnels, different avenues you could go down with that, because, like you said, with your connections, you could almost be a business manager, or what's the word? A liaison? Sports a liaison?
Liaison.
What is it?
Liaison.
Oh, well. Excuse me. Homeostasis. Homeostasis is the word that we used on our last generation, part 6. Yeah, like a sports agent, like just the connections of, and that's what I do, is put everybody together, and yeah, I think you're onto something with that. I really do. Yeah, I think it'd be cool.
No, it'd be exciting because like I've thought about like going the agent route. I've thought about coaching. I've thought about this and that, but
It could be all in
yeah,
one.
exactly. So it would be. I just want to basically provide resources and a way,
Right.
and connections,
And the money will
everything.
come later. I mean,
Yeah.
I didn't do this to get the money, and I think that's where everybody makes a mistake, and they don't think it out or really have the, like you said, I just want to play. I'm fine playing right now. I don't need all this money. I do what I love to do.
Yeah,
And that says a lot because that's a lost thought nowadays in anything. Everybody's looking for the huge splash on social media of money, and I think you and I aren't defined that way.
yeah.
And I think that's what Woodgym people are.
No,
Man,
definitely.
I just wanted to get a wrap around you. I wanted to get you in here before you leave because you said you could be gone at any time.
Yeah.
Right? So I'd want to thank you for coming in on a cold Friday in Knoxville, Tennessee. And I like that time. I think that's a good time to close it up and wrap it up and catch back up with you this time next year.
Yeah.
I only see you once a year. You know what I'm saying? And we get so much in. It's like a crash Gibby course. We train Soccer Taco podcast. Deal. Let's do it again next year.
Let's do it.
All right. Love you. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Chaz.